Hi, welcome back to the Potsmoker's Bible. My name is Zion. I'm the author of the Potsmoker's Bible, which contains the prophetic book of Zion, where I get my name and authority. It comes from the Ketuvim, or Torah, Old Testament, if you will. Now, today, we're discussing the sixth part of the 20th chapter of the Potsmoker's Bible, which is the 17th chapter of the Book of Zion. This is part of the dissertation, and I'm going to pick up where I left off. She, America, has rejected God. The Grey tried to work with the governments, first with the United States, then England, and Germany, and even Russia. But World War II tells that tale. American might and arrogance led our leaders to reject the arrival of the Grey. America is to blame for all of the problems that are coming to be. And it's because they rejected the Grey. The Grey used every means to give voice to their thoughts, but the politicians rejected the truth. THC is the truth. They also rejected the dire warnings and offerings of aid that required them to change their evil ways. The Grey tried to speak to America, but America refused to hear. American princes, the one percenters, are like raging lions, devouring everything it can, lording it over the weak as if by divine right. These princes are out of control, like lions roaring before they devour their prey. Now her judges are wolves that devour, leaving nothing to their victims but empty shells cast away into prison, stripped of all but the barest means. These judges, like wolves, run in packs, sitting on benches, taking down their prey unimpeded. The prophets are light and treacherous. They project prosperity and the false belief that they are justified in all that they do. The prophets, the media, and the analysts are the ones that preach ways to profit. And the outcome that they foresee is as foolish as they are. But their knowledge is lacking. They project only what they believe to be the facts, but being blinded by false beliefs, they use conjecture in place of evidence, and they don't know to look for the true evidence, because they have no way of knowing that they're missing the entire point. They're missing the point because they have polluted the sanctuary and have done violence to the law. The priests, preachers, and religious organizations have become something other than what they were intended to be. The sanctuary has been polluted. Temples were created to teach humanity how to overcome their baser natures and to elevate their souls with knowledge, not with faith. Today's religions do no more than pay lip service to their gods. They have polluted their rituals and their religions. They have done violence to the law. The laws governing America were based on the principles of freedom for all. But greed has taken over the policies that decides what becomes law in America. Where once our politicians protected our rights, now they have decided to line their pockets at our expense. They do violence to the law, violating its very spirit. The violence is centered around my people. The use of force is authorized by the laws against my people. All moral considerations are put aside in regards to the treatment of those seen as criminal. It's the drug culture of the poor and the minorities that are the targets of violence in America. But the last verse in this passage is a statement of communion between gray and human gray. Those of us who are not the strangers have the God of our ancestors to guide us. They are in our minds, in our midst, because they are in our minds, teaching us divine truth. Those who know the gray on high are in a state of communion with God. We who know God know right from wrong. We know to be ashamed. We meekly submit to the violence of the law and the police that abuse us because we know how to feel shame. That knowledge comes from God. The strangers who cannot be compelled, who can be compelled but not taught, on the other hand, know no shame. They, in their ignorance, go about their destructive ways. They stand tall and proud, boasting of their wealth and their right to do as they please, knowing no shame. They set themselves up to take a terrible fall because they can't hear God's judgment. And that will be their undoing, as is projected in the next passage. Psalms 129, 4 and 5. Zion 17, 12 and 13. The Lord is righteous. He hath cut asunder the cords of wickedness. Let them all be confounded, and turn back that hate Zion. The Lord is righteous. He cuts asunder the cords of wickedness. They all will be confounded, and turn back that hate Zion. Zion and her people know God. The gray. Their ability to understand the inner speeches of God has given them the means to overcome their enemies. They are taught through telepathy how reality actually works. To cut the cords asunder is not a metaphor, it's actually a thing. In reality, energies are power. True power is of a spiritual nature. To cut the cords asunder is to end belief in a thing. The knowledge given to me through the prophecy of Israel has already taught me how to end the oppression. I cut asunder the cords of greed and prejudice. That is the foundations of the war on drugs. The truth and the knowledge of truth always undermines that which is false. So, by standing up to challenge the lies and half-truths of the prohibition, I can and will disprove the laws, and in so doing, I will overcome all who oppose the truth about my people. The only reason the war goes on is because those it criminalizes haven't yet stood up to cry foul to the state. So, when someone, namely me, stands up with the facts, the current administration will be unable to refute it. The war will end because it had no right to be in the first place. That way, I, being Zion, can now use the facts to stand up for my people. The gray designed it that way. They compelled the greedy to incite the prejudiced against the minorities. They then compelled the power-hungry to use propaganda to create a gross lie that could easily be disproven, so that Zion, the Most High God of Israel, could easily disprove it. This was done to confound and to turn back all that hate Zion. The war on drugs was a means to an end, a way for the gray to re-enter our society after a very long absence that was unavoidable, which required the use of marijuana to be minimized until their return. That necessity made the reintroduction of marijuana problematic. The prohibition of marijuana was the chosen way. It was diabolical because humans are so easily confounded because of their primitive mindset. That mindset was the basis for the actions taken to reintroduce their native plant, marijuana. Zephaniah 1:18, Zion 17:14. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. Zephaniah, in this passage, contains the title to this chapter because all of the money in the world will be useless when shit hits the fan. This society is founded on the concept of money. Nothing can be done here without it. Silver and gold are the end-all be-all of this age. But like the chapter title says, no amount of fortune will save some society from itself. Our society has already destroyed itself. Greed has killed all of you that refuse to believe in the testimony of the prophets. These aren't my words. They are the words held sacred by all of the religions based on the Torah. The moral basis of this society, a society that has followed the wrong path, the path of greed and self-destruction. The prophets say literally that fire will devour all who reject God and refuse to give up their supposed right to live by their own imagined reality. The fire of God's wrath is a methane fireball caused by the use of fossil fuels. The fact that society, i.e. the state, chose to ignore the science and go on with business as usual has ensured their own destruction. Society chose to do nothing to prevent its own demise. There is no one to blame but yourself. Those of us who choose Zion and the gray will survive because we are going to go to our new mountain home and literally dig in. We will be creating for ourselves an inner mountain shelter that will house our entire population. We choose to prepare for a horrific event made possible by the people who chose to turn a blind eye to the damage that they have been doing to the atmosphere. I am told that this event is inevitable. We have no alternative but to prepare for the worst. And I'm going to stop there because of a time factor. So, next time, we will take up with Amos 6:3. Until then, may the gray watch over you, guide you, protect you, keep you all from harm, and teach you right from wrong. May you always be worthy of them. May your thoughts, words, and deeds reflect truth, good, and light. May you always be happy and high. Know that I love you. I stand ready to champion our cause and to provide us all with a much better future. So, until next time, later. Because I'll never say goodbye.